What's up? It's your boy. You can call me Seven Letter. 2 years ago, a friend of mine asked if I still speak.
I wanted you guys to see the demo first beforehand before I give you my actual review, because when I'm watching foundation review videos, the main concern of mine is the coverage for one, the finish, the color, and definitely how long it lasts. So I'm going to start this review by showing you guys the condition of my skin. It does come with a pump, and I love how you can just rush your finger right here to pump the foundation out. I am using the shade 13 Chestnut. So that is one pump. I'm going to use a flat top kabuki brush to apply this foundation. I like to use my ring finger and just apply little dabs all over my face.
I know you don't want beef. All that rag mouth and I give you some real teeth. I'm in it till I hit it. You haters don't want me. I'm just saying. Don't do it like I do. I'm slay. Don't do it like I do. I'm slay. Just say it. Don't do it like I do. I'm slay. Don't do it like I do. I'm slay.
As you guys can see, the shade of this foundation is very rich. In fact, I'm going to take you guys to the sunlight so you can see exactly how this foundation looks in the sunlight. I'm more of a yellow undertone. I feel like this foundation is a orange undertone. So be very careful, because you don't want to be out here in these streets looking like a Oompa Loompa. So I am by the sunlight, and I wanted you guys to see the coverage. And this is just one pump. I could build it up, but yes, before I set my face, this is how everything is looking in the natural sunlight. So now that you guys have seen the color of the foundation, which is again in the shade 13 Chestnut, and you guys have seen the finish of the foundation, it's kind of a contrast between dewy and a satin finish. Now I live in California, so it gets super hot where I'm at. So the number one thing that I want to know about a foundation is how it lasts. And I would say that this foundation does last pretty well for a drugstore foundation. However, when I think about certain foundations like the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, which is the matte one that I use, I am absolutely in love with that foundation, and I feel like this foundation does not hold a candle to that foundation. The lasting power on this foundation is about 6 to 8 hours. I have had this foundation for about 5 to 6 weeks now, and I've only worn it to work once because I felt like by the end of my work shift I was oily. And I am combination skin, in case I didn't mention that beforehand. I am combination skin. I do get oily in my T-zone. I'm kind of dry in my cheek area today, but I don't have any dry patches. To sidebar on that is, if you do have dry patches on your skin, it will not cling to those dry patches. In my opinion, this foundation lasts about 6 to 8 hours before it starts looking like super warm. And I did find myself needing to blot within 2 hours of wearing this foundation, and I'm not feeling that. No, I'm not feeling that. I feel like a good long-lasting foundation, no matter whether it's high-end or from the drugstore, I don't want to have to blot my face after I mattified it with powder for at least like 3 to 4 hours, because once the weather gets hot, if I'm blotting every hour or two with this foundation and it's not even in the 80s or the hundreds yet, I can just imagine this foundation melting off of my face completely in the summertime. So I would say, if you live in a warmer climate or if you just have oily skin, this is not for summertime. As you guys seen in the demo, this foundation covered my dark spots. and my hyperpigmentation on my skin extremely well. So for the coverage part of the foundation, I definitely give it a 2 thumbs up. The coverage is amazing with this foundation, and I do find that you can build the coverage. The best way to apply this foundation is with a beauty blender. Here's why. Being that this foundation has like a satin, dewy kind of finish, I feel like sometimes when I apply this foundation, I have like a oily look. It's not necessarily dewy and it's not necessarily satin. It's kind of like oils on my skin. And I only notice that when I apply this foundation with a foundation brush. Now for the sake of this video, I did apply this foundation with a flat top kabuki brush, but I already see the difference in my application. So if you decide to purchase this foundation, I suggest you try it out with a beauty blender and a foundation brush, because that can make all the difference of you liking it. Because the first time I tried it on, I did not like it because I used a foundation brush and I felt like I needed to block my face before I even added powder or anything to my face. So basically, my main complaint about this foundation is the texture of the foundation. I don't care for it. It is pretty thick and it's creamy and it goes on the skin pretty well, but I just do not like the finish that it gives me before I apply my powder, and I don't like how it applies at all with a foundation brush. Goes on heavy feeling to me. And speaking of heavy feeling, I feel like this foundation, after a couple hours, it just feels like it's sitting on my skin, and I'm not a fan of that. I like lightweight foundations. I love full coverage, but I like them to feel lightweight on my skin. This right here, it has a heavy feeling. It claims to feel lightweight on the skin, but in my opinion, it's pretty heavy. So this foundation claims to be a 2-in-1 foundation plus concealer. I do agree that you get an ample amount of coverage with this foundation, so you could use it to spot treat certain areas, basically using it as a concealer, or you can use it all over your face as a foundation. I do agree that it is a medium to full coverage foundation. It says lightweight and oil free. I don't agree with that part. I feel like it's some kind of oils in this foundation. Then lastly but not least, it claims to be long wearing, water resistant, and sweat proof. Now I guess after hearing my thoughts, you guys already pretty much know I do not agree with that statement. I definitely don't feel like it's extremely long wearing. I basically wouldn't advertise this foundation as like a long wearing foundation. That is just my opinion. Water resistant, I do not know, and I probably will never know. And sweat proof, I extremely doubt that this foundation is sweat proof, being that it has been about in the 70s here in California. When I perspire, I can see the foundation kind of move a little bit. If I had to rate this foundation, I will give it a 7 out of 10. If you were saying to me, oh, so girl, should I buy this foundation? I would say give it a shot. I purchased mine for $10.99 on the Milani Cosmetics website. But the shipping was about $5 to $6, so overall I paid about $17 for this foundation. I do not feel like it was worth $17, but hey, the foundation price plus the shipping, guess it pretty much is what it is on that. But if you can't find it in your local drugstores, I suggest picking it up there, trying it. If you don't like it, take it back and get your coin back. I will leave a few links to where you can purchase this foundation online if you're interested in trying it. Hey divas, so it's the end of the day. It's after 8 o'clock. Love and Hip Hop about to come on right to TV, and yes, this is how my foundation is looking. Really oily and just overly dewy. It's like, this ain't dewy, this oily, you know? I have had this foundation on for 9 hours, so you guys be the judge and decide whether you are feeling this foundation. Is this foundation a yay or a nay? I say try it, but if you have oily skin, like extremely oily skin, don't waste your money. If you're into the dewy look, go ahead, try your luck. I think that this can work if you are into the dewy look and you like satin finish foundations. And if you have dry skin, you're going to absolutely love this foundation. So yes, that's my review, and I'll see you guys on my next video.
See you Saturday and toxic, but you ain't nothing like them girls that you came with. No eye contact, and we locked in. Then I put you in my phone as my main shit.